And gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever the hell you are in the world, and whenever you are tuning into this video. My name is James Porcelli.
And I'm Brian Thomas.
And welcome to another edition of Ruthless Talk. Well, Brian, WWE has seemed to catch the injury bug as of late, especially over the past 24 hours. And one of those people happens to be one of the biggest names in wrestling and was one of the biggest returns in wrestling this past year. And that is CM Punk Phil Brooks. So if you guys know, and we're going to jump straight into today's episode. Today's episode is all about Monday Night Raw, the Raw after the Royal Rumble. Speaking of the Royal Rumble, I want to thank everybody who has tuned in to our Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That is on all of our podcasting platforms right now, which is Spotify and Apple Podcast, as well as on our YouTube channel. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure once again you click out of this video and you go and watch that Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So appreciate all the love and all of the views and just checking out that episode out. This past Saturday or Sunday, I want to say, was when we recorded, and it got up on our platforms the next day on Monday. So appreciate everybody for tuning that. And if you haven't, make sure you guys go check that out. So today is all about Monday Night Raw. And the first topic that is, we're going to jump straight into things. The first thing we'll talk about is this CM Punk injury. So yes, CM Punk, guys, is injured. It is a legitimate injury as CM Punk has suffered a torn tricep that will take him out roughly around 4 to 6 months. So CM Punk going to WrestleMania, headlining WrestleMania at this point, is very, very unlikely. Already, of course, Seth Rollins is dealing with his knee injury. Of course, he's been dealing with a back injury and many other minor injuries. So it's just a very unfortunate situation. We also have some other wrestlers who have also caught the injury bug as well, and we'll get to those people for a different day on this platform. But CM Punk did start the show off. He did start off Monday Night Raw. Very loud CM Punk chants, by the way, his arms in a sling and everything. And CM Punk just came right out and said, listen, and he goes into like this, what do you want to call it? It's like a type of college coach type of riled up speech, right? He goes into, said, listen, he's like, I came up short, but, or coming up close isn't good enough, in this industry. And he goes on to talk about some friends that he has. He's like, listen, I got a good friend of mine. He's dealing with cancer. I got a guy who's a firefighter. Those people are the real best in the world. Like me, this injury, this is just a bump in the road. Like, I'll be fine. And he talks about, headlining WrestleMania is pretty much unlikely at this point. And it was very, very good promo. Again, CM Punk in promos. Are we shocked that it's a good promo? I don't think anybody is. But it was a very good, just a very good, heartwarming promo. And you can tell, like, Punk is just really devastated by this.
Yeah, he was emotional. Yeah,
very, very emotional. And the thing is with Punk, man, I guess you can say that we can't be shocked with this injury being developed, because for the past 2 years now, ever since Punk has came back into wrestling, Punk has been one of those wrestlers that has heavily caught the injury bug as of late. It was over in AEW. You can tell, like, the guy is just aging rapidly freaking fast, and it kind of shows in the ring as much as, and I've been so looking forward to what he has to offer in WWE, especially this whole shtick with Seth Rollins. And all of it's just very, very unfortunate. And we'll get to more of this whole injury situation later. But yeah, Punk, tremendous heartfelt promo. Again, talking about his friends, his loved ones. Like, listen, those guys put up the good fight every single day. These guys battle cancer. These guys are blue-collared working guys. Like me, this is just a bump in the road. I'll be fine. I'm going to rehab and I'm going to come back. And Drew McIntyre music hits. And Brian, as soon as his music hit, I'm like, brilliant. Freaking brilliant. And I'll tell you why, because Punk somehow suffered this injury during a future shock DDT during the matchup at the Rumble. So I'm like, hey, freaking use that to give Drew McIntyre some heel heat and play that off a little bit. So I freaking love the fact that Drew McIntyre's music hits. I'm like, dude, fucking brilliant. Freaking loved it. So he comes out and he comes out and he's like, listen, I can almost relate to everything that you just said, man. But, it's like, listen, I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping, I'm not a spiritual person, but I was praying for this. And you can hear the crowd's like, oh, what a freaking dickhead. And Drew just goes off and he's like, listen, I couldn't let you win that Rumble, and you eliminated me, and I was so frustrated with myself. But then I heard the news, and I slept like a freaking baby last night, man. And he's like, I couldn't be more happy because, you may have won the battle, but I won the freaking war. And then Punk goes nose to nose with Drew and says, listen, I'm going to come back. I'm going to rehab, and I am going to main event WrestleMania. But the first thing on my hit list is you. I'm coming straight after you when I come back. And then blows exchange as freaking Drew McIntyre drops Punk where he stands, targeting the injured tricep. A lot of people had a problem with it, Brian. I had no problem with it at all. When it comes to a torn tricep, guys, it's torn. Like, you can't do any more damage.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
all about pain tolerance. Cody Rhodes was a perfect example with his torn pec. At that point, man, it's just like, if doctors, it's like, listen, no, you can go out there. We don't recommend that you go out there, but if you can,
you can't damage it any further.
You can't damage it any further. Exactly. So there's no more damage that it can be done. If you can tolerate the pain, you want to take some freaking painkillers or whatever, go freaking right ahead. So, and plus Drew McIntyre is a tremendous professional, so I had no problem with it at all. And it made Drew McIntyre look so freaking damn good, and pretty much wrote Punk off of TV with this attack. Security and officials come out along with the returning Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn rushes to the ring. Drew McIntyre retreats, and it sets up a match between them later on the night. I had no problem also with Drew and Sami. Again, we've already seen it before. I know we've talked about too, like, oh, could they maybe potentially set something up with Drew and Sami for maybe WrestleMania, or hell, maybe even for Elimination Chamber? And I would be fine with it to a degree, but it's the fact that we've seen Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre so many freaking times now over the past several freaking months now. I was fine with it just being back on a Raw. It's just like, you can't really add lightning to a bottle with what's going on between Sami and Drew, because we've seen it so many times now. But the fact that it ended the show, like, they ended the show with Drew and Sami, and just Drew just beating Sami, which I did not like at all. I was fine with the matchup, but if you were to tell me that it's going to end the night, I'm like, whoa, like, what are we doing here? But that's a different discussion. But tremendous stuff, man. I love the fact that, listen, if Punk's going to be out, if he's going to be out for Mania, use this type of injury angle to get some heel heat over to Drew McIntyre and have him keep building this shtick going, man. Like, Drew McIntyre, and we've spoken about Drew and how this tweener shtick and this slow burn with his heel turn, and I'm sure we've had many different ideas of how we would have done this turn, months ago, but it's here. And now it seems like we're finally, Brian, with this injury angle and how much it's putting a lot of heel heat on Drew. It seems like we're finally starting to get the ball rolling. Like, Drew is a full bona fide heel. No more of this tweener shtick. No more of this in-between babyface shtick. Please, no more of that. Make Drew a diabolical heel. Keep this momentum going. He also made a freaking video that I also sent to you, Brian. I don't know if you caught it yet, but it's Drew McIntyre. He's in his home garage gym, and he's working triceps, like, and he gives a little wink to the camera. Dude, this Drew McIntyre is tremendous, bro. He really, truly is, man. It sucks that his turn and his approach to this turn has been a little bit botched, but we're here, man. And if they can keep this up and be consistent with Drew moving forward, and you can make an argument, Brian, like, at this point, why not at WrestleMania put the belt on Drew McIntyre, this world championship at this point? Freaking why not? The dude has the best momentum on the Raw roster right now, maybe outside of Gunther. I mean, Gunther holding 2 belts, I don't have a problem with it, but I don't know what the long-term plan is for this Intercontinental Championship, and we'll get to Gunther too. But yeah, Brian, I'll send this off to you. Your thoughts on this injury with Punk, the segment with Drew McIntyre, and this entire situation, man. I'll let you start and let you get your thoughts. The floor is yours, bro. Talk to me.
Oh man, it's just, ultimately it's just really unfortunate, man.
Yeah.
Of course, Seth too, who we excuse me, think is going to be back for Mania, but still, I mean, if he has even a minor setback in rehab, it's probably not making it. But yeah, just with Punk, man. I don't know what to say about the guy anymore. Like, look, I'm a huge fan. Go back and even to when when he debuted in AEW, like I was over the moon about it, man. Really happy to see him back. But yeah, now we've gotten what 2-3 years. When did he debut in AEW? It's been at least 2 years.
It
I
was
can't
back
remember.
in it was on Rampage back in 2021. I think the
21, yeah.
summer of
So about 3
2021. So
years
it's been
ago,
well
yeah.
over, close to 3 years. Yeah.
So and the last 3 years, man. I mean, so he comes back after being gone for 10 years, gets injured, comes back again, gets in a brawl, gets injured, comes back again. I mean, this is the dude's what, third or fourth injury.
Yeah.
Um, and I didn't want to say it, on a Rumble podcast, but if you looked at it, and really, there's a lot of matches you can go back to AEW if you're really being an objective wrestling fan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that CM Punk has what it takes to be main event in WrestleMania anymore in ring.
Yeah.
Maybe you could see in the Rumble, like maybe the injury has played a huge part in it, but by the
Right.
end, he was gassed, man. He
Yeah.
it
Because
really,
I
really
was saying
was.
he looked bad. He definitely looked bad towards the end, man. But now we know why, because of this
Right,
freaking
right.
injury, of how gassed he looked in there because of how, again, just everything transpired with this injury. But yeah,
But
it's
even
just
back in AEW, like he didn't look great. Like
yeah, no, and
he
that's
didn't
and that's
look
the thing. Like
he
ever
didn't
since
look like
he's
main event WrestleMania. Like, I'm sorry, like promo wise, you could pull it off, but in
I
ring,
agree.
I don't know, man. I don't think he can anymore. At least not with the likes of like your top, a Seth Rollins. Like what I've seen in ring from Punk the last 3 years, he can't hang with Rollins in the ring, man. He just can't.
No. Again, it's
Um,
like the dude is like he's 45 years old, and it's like this dude has like the body of a 95-year-old. It's like
right.
it's serious, and that's no shade to Punk, but it's
No,
just
no, it
over the
happens,
last 2
man.
to 3 years, that's just been the reality, man. It's just like whenever Punk, it's like taking one step forward, and then Punk just takes another 2 to 3 steps back
Yeah,
with his health, and it's concerning, man, to like, and I know we all love CM Punk, we love the pipe bomb, we love just, how much of a polarizing figure he is to this industry, but I mean, if he can't, if his body is this worn down, I mean, because he's
right.
not going to get any younger. He's 45. So it's like we're
Nope.
going to try to maybe hold out hope that he could either come back early, which is honestly, Brian, it's very,
Yeah.
very unlikely at this point,
Nah, nah. He's
as
missing
well
Mania.
as well as try to do this next year. It's just like I don't know, man. And it sucks because I've always stated about Punk, like this is truly where he belongs in WWE. And as long as he keeps his head on straight and he remains positive and he continues to have fun doing what he's doing, then this is a good working relationship. And the only thing that can tarnish it is this, unfortunately. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Brian, your final thoughts about this?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know where you go with here. Like, I have no doubt, he's going to rehab and train and whatever. But like you said, I mean, now we're talking about next year's Mania, and that he's just a year older, and
Yeah.
who knows what's going to be going on in the ethos of the main event picture next year at Mania. But
Mm-hmm.
again, like I said, you're from what we've seen over the last 2-3 years. Punk in ring is not main event Mania. He's just
Mm-hmm.
not. And that's unfortunate. Again, he could carry a story, tell a story promo wise, and that's all that he's never gonna lose, right?
Yeah.
But the in-ring stuff, I mean, and look, he's very, very few people can do this into their 40s and 50s at an elite level. I mean,
Yeah.
Hogan in his 40s couldn't do it. Flair in his 50s, maybe, couldn't do it. I mean, there's very few. And even, somebody like an Adam Copeland now, right? I can't remember how old he is, but the dude, I mean, if you're just comparing, physical, what looks to be in shape, Adam Copeland is still there, right? He can still do it. And he's one of those guys. As much as we've talked about, or you've talked about with people bitching about The Rock being 50 years old, that guy can still do it.
Yeah.
Not everybody can.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's just not in the cards for Punk.
Yeah.
But back to Drew, yes, that was fantastic. Because when he first came
Mm-hmm.
out there, I thought it was, he started off in kind of the tweener response, and I thought he was going to go like, oh, that's unfortunate, and I was looking forward to a match. But then when he was like,
Yeah, thank
you
God it
know,
didn't go that route.
right. But then when he just like doubled down on being a heel, like that's where you need to go with. That's where you've been needing to go with Drew.
Yeah,
So yeah, that
absolutely.
was fantastic. Yeah, we'll see. As we get into Mania now, how it actually all shakes out. Because I mean, no Punk, no Brock.
Mm.
Possibly still. I mean, Rollins is still kind of up in the air, even though we do expect
Seth,
him back.
Seth Rollins on one leg. That's what we got. That's pretty much what
Right,
we got.
right. So, yeah, all in all, I mean, those are my thoughts. It was great for Drew, and I have no doubt he's going to be one, if not maybe the top heel. Him and Gunther, maybe the top heels on Raw. And even, let me speak about Gunther real quick. If you go back
Yeah.
even 2 Mondays ago, like I was even wondering then, like, so we know everything going on with Brock Lesnar now. And 2 weeks ago, Gunther came out there to confront Rollins kind of out of the blue. And it seemed like I was even wondering then. And then once the news came out about Brock, I was like they already knew Brock wasn't going to be there, because we all thought Brock and Gunther were going to have that Rumble moment, and that's probably going to be at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
But then he comes out there, confronts Rollins. We'll get into it with the Cody and Rollins, promo, and just I don't
Yeah.
know what the Mania matches are going to be, because it's all up in the air now, or some
Yeah.
of it is at least. But
I heard it's funny you mentioned Brock. I heard, and this is just from sources that I came across in regards to that situation, like what I heard, that Brock was supposed to be involved in the Fatal 4-Way match, is what I heard
ah,
as well, which is also very interesting. And yeah, the source claimed that it was supposed to start something with him, as well as I believe it was Orton. I have to go back and reread that source, but yeah, like the plan was, from what I heard, because there's also been talks about, of course, and we've talked about it too with Brock and Gunther. But
mm,
I was also hearing a completely different story. So again, but who the hell knows what Brock's situation was really going to
I don't
be?
expect to see him in WWE regardless anytime
Yeah,
soon. So
no,
yeah, whatever
definitely
plans
not.
were, they're not happening.
They're not happening now. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brian, what do you think, man? So when it comes to this world title, and we'll get into this next topic in just a second, it seems like there probably will still do an elimination chamber type of scenario, to where winner goes on to face Seth Rollins for this world title. Now, which is interesting, because there's another topic that we're going to get into, and we'll end the show with it, which also just freaking baffles me.
Yeah.
But it seems to me like they'll probably do something in regards to this, or I don't know, do they do something with Roman's championship, because he's not advertised for it? But you would think that they would do some type of elimination chamber match, to where whoever wins the matchup goes on to face Rollins at Mania. Will they do a type of triple threat fatal 4-way schmozzery matchup? Just because WWE is just, again, because of all these injuries, they just don't know what to do right now. And it's evident right now. And
Yeah.
it sucks to a degree, but hopefully, as creative as some of these people are called back there, they could get their shit together and really develop some good stuff, even with this injury bug anyway. But what do you think, Brian? I mean, like, you got Gunther, you have Drew McIntyre. I mean, who is the guy to face Seth Rollins at this point, do you think?
I don't even know. Because I got a lot to say about our final topic too, which you know, if I had to pick now, just I don't know. I'd say either Drew or Gunter, probably.
Yeah,
That's
you
who
would
I
have to
think
think
needs
it's
to.
got to be one of those two
Yeah,
at this point. But then there's, of course, the talks about this IC title, because whoever is going to challenge Seth is probably going to win this world title, because Seth Rollins, I mean, we know that he's probably going to take some time off
right.
after this Mania match, so he's not going to defend this title. So is Gunther going to be is it going to be Gunther two belts moving forward, or are they going to give it to Drew, which honestly, Brian, I'm kind of leaning more towards Drew McIntyre at this point now. I think Gunther will be fine in regards to like if he's not in this world title
Oh yeah.
picture at Mania.
Mhm.
And because the fact that he's already IC champion and the fact that he's already is already looked upon as a dominant champion. And I think Drew, because Drew needs that big moment now. With this officially putting the stamp on this heel persona, he's got to get a big victory. And I understand it's Drew, it's Seth, because they've already done this matchup so many times, and that's the other blunder and what hinders this entire situation. So I don't know, but you got to think like Drew has to be in this discussion. You would
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
think so. But we'll see. We shall see. But Drew McIntyre is doing tremendous work, and I'm gonna continue to root for him, man, because he deserves his flowers and what he's doing.
Mhm.
And hopefully, with what's going on with Sami Zayn, hopefully they don't really drag this out too much, man. I don't think this is something that between Drew and Sami should be going on all the way through till past Elimination Chamber, to be quite
Yeah,
honest
right.
with you.
Yeah.
But we'll see. And it sucks for Sami Zayn too, man. Like even with this return, like Sami Zayn just doesn't feel that important. I don't know, he just doesn't. And who knows? And could that change in the next week or two? Maybe. But it's just unfortunate because the dude was on such a high,
Mhm.
facing just almost close to a year from now, facing Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber in Montreal.
Yep.
And ever since then, man, like, yeah, he won tag titles with KO, and it was cool for what it was in that moment at Mania for night one. But ever since then, man, Sami Zayn he's just been in the middle, right?
Mhm.
He's just there. And that's just what sucks about it. So do they do an Elimination Chamber match? Is Sami Zayn involved? Do they add in people like a Jey Uso or a Bronson Reed? Bronson Reed's freaking booking is so fucking bizarre, but that's again a different discussion for a different day. But really good stuff. Again, just condolences to Punk. And let's just, again, hopefully he doesn't rush into this rehab, right? I like what Big E is doing. And of course, Big E's like he's got a neck injury. And when it comes to neck injuries in wrestling, that's definitely a very severe thing. But I like the fact that he's taking his time and the fact that he is acknowledging that, hey, I would love to come back. There's a possibility, but I'm not rushing into anything right now. I'm just fortunate enough to walk, right? But then you got people like Charlotte and now CM Punk. They're going to try to rush back in time for Mania. It's just like I really hope that they don't do that. I really hope, man. Just get yourself right, right? Have a speedy recovery, but not too speedy. But we'll see, man, and how everything goes. But it is an unfortunate situation
Yeah.
with this injury bug that WWE has caught for the past several weeks now. And it happens to be on the most important time in wrestling for WrestleMania. But we'll see, man, how everything transpires. But let us get into this next topic for Monday Night Raw, and that is with the ladies, and that is with your women's Royal Rumble match winner, Bayley, as well as the rest of Damage Control. They hit the ring. They were, I believe this was in the third hour, if I'm not mistaken, for Raw this past Monday. But Bayley, she's in the ring. Her and Damage Control seem to be just as tight as ever. It seems like all that tension, all that really cool division that you had, it just over the past several weeks, it just seems like it's gone all of a sudden. I don't know. But Bayley, she's she's talking shit to Michael Cole. I love that connection with Michael Cole. It's
Right.
freaking great. She's about to make her decision and everything. And out comes Rhea Ripley. Out comes Mommy, your women's world champion. And of course, she talks about, listen, if you choose me, it'll be the biggest mistake of your life. Of course, Bayley's trying to tease the fact that she's going to pick Rhea because she's a part of Damage Control. Because why would she choose freaking Io Sky to challenge her for her title at Mania, right? And then Nia Jax attacks Rhea Ripley from behind. The rest of Damage Control, they just watch along. They get into the ring. Nia Jax just beats the living shit out of Rhea. She drops, I believe, 3 leg drops, followed by the Annihilator, the Okozuna freaking Annihilator finisher, as I like to call it. And Nia Jax gets straight into freaking Bayley's face. The rest of Damage Control just exit the ring.
They bailed on her.
They just freaking bailed on her, dude. And freaking Bayley's in a corner like a scared puppy. And Nia Jax like, listen, he's like, you can choose whatever decision you want, but just know this, like Rhea Ripley is mine first, or whatever. It's something
or
in
she might
regards
not
to
make
that.
it to
Or
Mania
she
or
not, yeah,
something like
right.
that. Yeah.
She's not. It's like you can choose whoever you want at Mania, but know this, that Rhea Ripley isn't making it to WrestleMania. As I'm sure, I think it's evident by now, Brian, that Nia versus Rhea, possibly at Elimination Chamber, is evident I think at this point, or at least at some point in that time frame, like Nia and Rhea in a match, it's gonna happen. And then Bayley's like, oh yeah, I'll make my decision Friday. And then and then Pat McAfee on commentary is like, yeah, that's what I thought. By the way, speaking of Pat McAfee, he's back on the
Yeah.
Raw
Yep.
commentary team, which
Raw
is
or
interesting.
him and Cole.
Him and Cole, I know Michael Cole thinks very highly of Pat McAfee. They're very good buddies, and and Michael Cole is pretty much, of course, the lead commentator, and he kind of calls the shots when it comes to commentary. And he's been wanting Pat McAfee now that college football is done, and now Pat McAfee is on Raw. It's gonna be interesting though that I guess Wade Barrett's gonna be going to Friday Night SmackDown now with Corey Graves. So you're going to have two color commentators on SmackDown. That's a very interesting pairing there, because I liked Wade and Michael Cole. I thought they also had a really cool thing going on. But again, Michael Cole wanted Pat McAfee by his side, and again, I love Pat McAfee on commentary, but I don't know, would they dare have Pat McAfee be a color commentator, like a heel commentator? But I don't know, people. I can't see people booing or disliking Pat McAfee because he's just so damn entertaining. But I don't know. But that's another weird situation. But I'll send this off to you, Brian. I'll speak a little bit more about it later. But your thoughts about this segment, Nia Jax, Rhea Ripley, and this weird thing with Bayley and Damage Control right now, because it's really freaking bizarre. But your thoughts, bro. The floor is yours.
Well, I love the segment, man. And even that little part that is left unsaid where, like, the rest of Damage Control just bails on Bayley and leaves her in the ring. It's little, it might even go unnoticed, but it's still telling the story that they're not really together here,
That's true. Because and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I was thinking, because here's what I was thinking, and that's funny you think about that, because I wasn't really thinking about the whole them leaving the ring. It's just like, oh shoot, we're gonna get out of here because we don't really care about Bayley. So I guess because it's just odd, because over the last several weeks, it's like there's been hardly really any tension. They've been slowly burning this up, and they've done it well, maybe too slow to a degree, but it was done very well. And I just expected, Brian, because now we got 2 months left, right? And I wish that there was really this more of a true divide here. I guess you could say like them leaving Bayley high and dry is a divide. I wish they would just get the ball rolling a little bit more. I don't know. And we haven't really seen much of a divide, maybe up until this past Monday, but I don't know. I didn't, it was okay. I'm not going to say it was great, but it wasn't bad, but it was okay. I'll keep it at that. So, but yeah, continue.
So yeah, and the whole Rhea and Bayley thing. I mean, Rhea was just out there for Nia, like, because that's. I mean, WrestleMania, it's Bayley and Io. Like, book that right now. Now, how we get there, and something needs to really kick off to like start that, which I expect here. Actually, I don't even expect really the major thing to happen probably until Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
But back to Rhea and Nia, man, like, because I think this is what should be the Mania match. But just given what Nia said, as far as Rhea not making it, I'm almost certain now that she'll probably face her at Elimination Chamber. But Jesus Christ, man, if it's Becky and Rhea at WrestleMania, or even a triple threat with Becky, Nia, and Rhea, either one of those things is garbage.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would assume right now they're probably shooting for Nia and Rhea at Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what'll happen with Mania, but yeah, for Bayley and Io, that's definitely your main event, one of your women's title matches for sure. From now until Elimination Chamber, probably you're gonna get the Like
It's
nothing
just
major is
just
going to
not
happen. It's just
like
going to
it's
be
just
those
not
little.
fun. It's just not
I'm kind of,
fun.
to be honest with you, I'm kind of digging it, man. Because I don't,
Fair
I think
enough.
it would be wrong if she just won it on Saturday and then comes out there Monday and is like, oh, I'm challenging Io. There's still got to
Well, yeah,
be
well, right. I mean,
a build and a break there.
I just wish that there was a bigger divide. That's all I'm saying. Like you've already slowly burned the tension for months now. You've been doing this since probably when? Probably what, War Games, I want to say. So or
Yeah,
before
about
War
that.
Games,
Yeah.
before, like way before. It's just like it's been months. So
Yeah.
we're still going to have that same slow transition. Like when do we pick this up? I just wish that there was a more noticeable divide,
Yeah.
right? Instead of just these small little teases. Like it's just we could just be doing more in regards to this divide, Brian, if that makes sense. It's not even
Oh
really
no,
about
I agree with you, but I don't think.
it's not even really about Bailey challenging Rhea or quote unquote challenging Rhea. But I agree of what you said about like, oh, like they left the ring, so they're clearly they don't really truly have her back. So and I like that, but I wish there was just we could have just done more with this division or whatever,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
No, it
But I'll
makes
let you
sense, but
continue, man.
yeah,
Continue.
I just don't think that the actual break it probably isn't going to happen to Elimination Chamber, and
You're
until then,
probably
it'll
right.
just
Yeah.
be like a bunch of little, miscommunication things or whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't expect
And that's
the
my
yeah.
problem because we've already done
I
this
know,
already.
right,
So we're
right,
just that because that's the thing. We're just repeating the same fucking thing every week. That's
yeah,
my see, Brian, that's my issue. Is that we're just doing the same small little teases every week. And
right,
now it's time to really kick this divide into high gear. That's my issue. Right. It's not even about Bailey challenging Rhea. If you want to do that, that's fine to a degree. But we keep doing the same little teases like, oh, like here comes this division. Like you see it, it's gonna, but like, okay, like now it's just like, okay, we get it. Now really make this just do something different
right.
instead of just doing the same little teases you've been doing for months now. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, so Bailey and EO is evident. I think we all know that. And like you said, Brian, you're right. You're probably not going to see this true turn probably till after Elimination Chamber. I believe so.
Yeah,
And then yeah, with Rhea and Nia Jax, I mean, yeah, I would you would assume that like Rhea, Nia, big powerhouses, right? You want to save that for the chamber, especially for Australia. Like Rhea Ripley defeating Nia Jax in her, you know, home in Australia. Like
hmm
there's no doubt like they're gonna save that for elimination. I highly doubt that they're gonna do that in the middle of a freaking Monday Night Raw or whatever.
right, right.
Especially with Rhea, they wouldn't do that to Rhea, who WWE is very high on because she's been the champion for so long now. Yeah, with Nia, I mean, listen, if you want to do it, I'll be fine with it at Chamber because it's evident that she's gonna get cheered because that's where Rhea is from, and Nia would look more as the heel in all of this. So it kind of there's less blurring the lines if you do it at Chamber, and then at Mania. So there's two people that I'm hearing, Brian. Obviously it's not Bailey for WrestleMania,
Right.
but right now what I'm hearing, there's two people. One is Becky Lynch. Unfortunately, I know there's a lot of people that don't want to hear that, but the other name, Brian, is Liv Morgan. Now I know there's not a lot of people very high on Liv Morgan, but I really do like Liv Morgan. She has gotten better as she's been doing this shtick. Now I get it. She still needs a character. I don't know, maybe not a character change, but like something a little bit different, like you said, Brian, before, like the little woe is me type of thing, right? And I get it to a degree, but Liv Morgan, there's something there with her and Rhea. There's a story there because she
hmm
took her out and signed her off TV. That, man, is more intriguing. I'll take Rhea and Liv more over Becky and Rhea. Now, here's another thing too, and I'll send this off to you, Brian, before we get into our final topic. Is that how believable would it be for little old Liv to defeat a big monster powerhouse like Rhea Ripley? So, in that aspect, I can understand where people are coming from. Like, oh, do I really believe that freaking Liv would defeat Rhea Ripley at Mania? And there's a discussion for that. Like, there's more believability for someone like a Becky Lynch, like I don't know, just again throwing a name out there, Jade Cargill or a Nia Jax if you want to throw her in there too. So that's the only hinder about it, but there's a story there. It's intriguing. Liv Morgan will be just fine, guys. She is a fine freaking talent. There's a good possibility that Rhea can carry this championship after WrestleMania. But we shall see in regards to it. But I don't know. I would say what they're going to do at the end of the day. Again, I would do, if I'm booking this, I'm doing Rhea and Liv Morgan, and I would make this shit captivating to really get people back on the Liv Morgan train. But they're probably going to do Becky and Rhea. I've said that now for weeks, and I'm still very evident that that's going to happen. But Brian, before we get into our final topic, man, your thoughts about just Rhea and just who do you feel like that she's going to be facing at Mania?
I got 3 names. My first one is still Nia. Like, I would prefer that she didn't wrestle her at Elimination Chamber, and that's put off till Mania. But I don't think that's the route they're going. The next 2, one is Jade Cargill. However, there's a caveat to that where I think you could almost book this too at Mania. It's going to be Bianca and Jade, which I think that's money. I can't blame them going that route at Mania.
Okay.
And the third one would be a returning Sasha Banks. Those are my 3. I don't think it's Becky. I don't think it's Liv. But yeah, it's either for me, Nia, Jade, or if Sasha returns. But again, even with those, like I said, I think right now, you got to go Jade and Bianca at Mania. I don't think you can put Jade right up to the title picture right off the bat.
I was thinking Jade and Nia Jax, because Jade is
that's either the other 2. It's for Jade. It's either got to be Belair or Nia Jax at Mania. One of those 2.
Because it seems like that Jade is a baby face right now. That's what it came across in regards to the Rumble. So, and again, she did eliminate Jax from the Rumble, so you think like that interaction is going to happen again at some point. And honestly, dude, I'll take Bianca and Jade any freaking day of the week, bro. That shit is money, and it's evident too. Like that's probably going to happen, whether it is at Mania or maybe they save it at a later date. I don't know, but we shall soon find out, man. But yeah, this whole thing with Bayley, it's interesting because we just continue to do the same small teases every week, man. And we've said it before. It's just like, okay, you don't want to drag this out too long. And I feel like we're just doing the same thing to where it's just not as intriguing anymore. Like, I get what they're doing, Brian. Like, here's how I approach this entire situation. It's like, I get what they're doing. They want to, like, the whole Rhea Ripley thing, I get it. You want to make it think like, oh, she's going to challenge after Rhea, because why would she go after freaking Io? And you want to hint all these teases to kind of like push along the turn. I get it. But when you're doing the same exact tease that you did just this past November, it's not as intriguing as it once was. That's my problem. And with Rhea and Nia, like we said, it's probably going to happen at Chamber. Who Rhea faces at Mania, again, what I'm hearing is either Becky and Liv. I would definitely more prefer Liv over Becky at this point right now.
And if it's just down to those 2, I'm team Liv all the way, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, and again, you can make that story fun because there is a story there. And I get it. The believability is not there with Liv, but if you can tell that story right, man, you could get people freaking captivated from the jump. But we'll see. We'll see as we get closer to Elimination Chamber in the next couple weeks. Now, before we get into our final topic of the day, we want to talk to you guys a little bit about sports betting. So sports betting, guys, continues to rise and rise in popularity, and we both want to connect with you all for ways to get started. Having multiple sports booking accounts is the most simple way to just maximize your profits. And there's honestly never been a better time to sign up. I mean, we got the Super Bowl coming up in 2 weeks, so there has never been a better time to make your first sports bet today. When you visit, the link is down below. That is signupexpert.com/ruthless. You will be connected to all of the sports books in your region, along with a review of each platform and its unique benefits.
And all these sports books have valuable sign-up offers for new users. And when you register through our link, you will automatically receive the top offer at each one. When you use multiple sports books, you ensure that you can always access the best available odds, which is key to successful sports betting.
So if you guys want to take advantage of these benefits and support our brand, please consider signing up for your sports booking account. That is at signupexpert.com/ruthless. Again, signupexpert.com/ruthless. And we will have links in the description down below if you guys are interested in that. So
put your money on the Niners.
The 49ers. Bang, bang, Niner gang, right? Is that what people say? I know people are enough that they're sick and tired of the whole Taylor Swift thing. I actually listen. I don't want to get off topic, but man, like I dig the Chiefs. They're embracing, dare I say, using wrestling terms, the heels in the NFL right now. I don't know if you caught Brian before the game when they fought the Ravens or when they played the Ravens. Freaking Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. They tossed freaking Justin Tucker's helmet and his shit into the freaking end zone and everything. Dude, those dudes, they're embraced just being hated. It's like, dude, we know we're hated. Let's just have fun with this, man. People are gonna hate us regardless. Let's just embrace this. I do freaking like it. I'm not at that point to where I'm like, all right, I'm sick and tired of them winning. Maybe in the next year or two, but yeah, man. But yeah, the Super Bowl's in 2 weeks. That's gonna be interesting. So, but yeah, I'm telling you, man, we got that. We got the NBA is starting to kick things into high gear. So if you guys are interested, man, fantasy sports booking, go ahead and click that link down below for your first sports booking account. Now, let us get into our final topic, a very juicy topic, man, to end the show. And that is Cody Rhodes, the man who won the Royal Rumble this past Saturday, the 2000 back-to-back Royal Rumble winner. And at this point, Brian, we think it's pretty evident, right? He pointed up straight to Roman. He's like, Roman Reigns, that's the title I'm going after because I got to finish my story, right? And he goes out there, he cuts a promo. This was in hour number 2 of Monday Night Raw. And he states and he actually, he gives a shout out to Samantha Irving. He's like, listen, can you say that again, Samantha? And then he reintroduces freaking Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes is loving it. Samantha Irving, I can go on for hours about how great Samantha Irving is. She's just fantastic, man. She really, truly is, man. Shout out to Samantha Irving. She's just like the amplification. It's just it's next to none, man. There's Lillian Garcia. It is next to
none, man. She blows everybody out of the water. Even
for real,
Michael Buffer. She's better than Michael Buffer, in my opinion.
Dude, she's good, bro. She is really, really good, for real. Shout out to, she is great. She's just, you can tell how much she loves it and just how much she embraces it, and she feels the moment. This is a big fight feel. The introductions that she makes, she feels that big fight, moment about to happen, and that's
she adds to it. Her announcing the competitors, it adds to it, man. That's why I don't understand why people or WWE or whatever, how that ever happened, where she can't say Ludwig Kaiser or Chelsea Green or whatever.
She is saying it now. She's able to say it.
I did notice that. Yeah, right.
So, but yeah, we can go on for hours talking about how great Samantha Irving is. So shout out to Samantha Irving, because Ricochet, you are one lucky motherfucker.
Man.
You are one lucky freaking dude, man. I will say. So, but Cody Rhodes.
I knew I should have done more flippy doos.
Oh man, I guess that's what she's into, man. I don't know. I don't freaking know. But all I know is that he's a lucky dude, and Ricochet, you better freaking take care of her, because man, that's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, Cody Rhodes, he's cutting this heroic type of promo, and he's about to make it official of who he's going to challenge. But then Seth Rollins comes out, and Seth Rollins tries to persuade Cody in why fighting Roman Reigns at WrestleMania is a big mistake and why he should fight himself. Seth Rollins talking about himself at WrestleMania for the Dusty title, talking about the world title.
The Dusty title?
The same title, Brian, that the only reason why it's a thing is because Cody Rhodes lost at WrestleMania 39, because Roman Reigns frickin' is now more part-time than ever, because they knew that they effed up. That's why this title's even a thing. It's a secondary title that Seth Rollins, and again, much love to Seth Rollins, and he's tried his hardest to try to make this somewhat as prestigious. But the unfortunate thing is, Brian, it's not. It's a secondary consolation prize for Cody. And the thing is, too, Brian, I would have been fine with this segment, right? So Seth Rollins going on, he's talking about, it's like, do you really want to go for the fraud Hollywood Hogan? By the way, keep that in mind, guys. Hogan. He's regiment Hollywood Hogan. I'm just saying, man. Talk about Roman Reigns surpassing Hulk Hogan. I'm just saying, man. Just throwing that out there. But he's like, do you want to take that title or do you want to win the Dusty title? Dusty Rhodes' championship. And I'm like, guys, like, what are we? And Cody Rhodes is legit, like, in deep thought. It's like, man, I thought I knew what my story was, but apparently I don't at this point. Guys, and then Cody Rhodes had legit said in the microphone and said, I'll think about it. Brian, and then the segment ends. So, oh my God, it's just like the guy, Brian, is questioning his own story.
His own story, dude. His own story.
He thought he had it all figured out for an entire year, and just in one promo, freaking Cody Rhodes is like, well, shit, I'll think about it, Seth. I'll think about this, man. This is guys, like, it's laughable. Guys, even the people that have defended Cody getting to WrestleMania night 2 with this whole rock spiel, right? And we've talked about it. Even those people are like, okay, this is really freaking weird now. And people wonder why nobody cares about this finishing the story shtick anymore. Because your main protagonist doesn't even know what the story is anyway. And we wonder why we don't give a shit about it, Brian. It's so freaking weird. But here's what I will say. I would have been fine with it if Cody Rhodes would have said something like this. He's like, you know what, Seth? With all due respect, the story is beating Roman Reigns, and that's who I'm facing at WrestleMania. It's me and Roman, WrestleMania 40. Like, that would have been a better freaking answer, and you would have got the ball rolling with this Cody and Roman shtick right from the jump. But now we're going to now get there by teasing a match with Seth? That's not even gonna happen. I mean, but who knows?
It might. No,
who knows? Because of this injury bug, it actually could happen, guys. Because WWE, because of this injury bug, doesn't even freaking know. Like, they're just throwing stuff at the wall to see if it sticks. And then there's fans out there that say, like, hey, he's got a point. Seth has got a point. Maybe he should fight Seth. It's just. But here's what I will say, Brian, and I'll end it with this: Cody versus Seth, dare I say, like, because Cody and Roman does nothing for me, and it does nothing for, I'm sure, a lot of people. Because, guys, there is no story. This is a completely different book. And if that's the route that you're going to go for Seth, it's not the same story anymore. Right. It's a completely different book. But the question is, what's going to be the more intriguing matchup? Is it Seth and Cody Part 4, or is it Cody versus Roman Part 2? So, I don't know, man. This is just a crazy, odd situation. Brian, floor is yours, man. Your thoughts.
Man,
Cody versus Seth, question mark? Your floor is yours.
Pick this promo apart, man. Guys, like, this makes no sense on any level. Like, Cody's story, what he told you from the beginning, his story, his dream is to win that belt that his dad never did. Again, it's not even beating Roman for it. It doesn't have to be Roman. It's just that belt. Now you're going to tell me after a year, right, of this story that a championship that was just created last year. No, this is Dusty's title that he never got. What the fuck? No, oh my God, make it make sense, man. So yeah, just that alone. Look, it's the story has always been to get that title his dad never did. Not beat Roman, not even fight Roman twice or 3 times, or it doesn't have to be Roman. It's just the title. So now to introduce Rollins into this, and which, to his point, yes, it is the workhorse title, but Cody beating Roman and then getting that Universal title, what do we think? Cody's going to be then part-time? No. He's going to be out there on TV every week, defending whatever. So it's no longer going to be a part-time title.
Yeah.
So that whole workhorse title, it's almost irrelevant, because if Cody beats Roman, it's no longer a part-time title. But here's another thing now. With Punk being injured, I could definitely see them night 1, Cody versus Rollins, night 2, Rock and Roman. I could completely see that happening.
And
also, because if Cody fights Roman and beats him, he's going to have to go to SmackDown, which I guess I'm okay with that, because then your other title, your other champion's still on Raw, whether that's Rollins retaining or whoever Rollins fights. So then Cody's going to go to SmackDown, presumably. So I don't know. That might cause some sort of issue there, but overall, this whole thing is just, man, if he is not fighting Roman for that title at Mania, then the last year and a half has just been, I don't want to say a waste of time, because all this stuff is kind of happening because of injuries, which you can't help. But I don't know, to go this route and literally just flip the story or change the story, that's weak sauce for me, man. Like, to me, it's still got to be Roman and Cody, and not because it's Roman, because Roman has that title. That's why. So yeah, that's where I'm at with all that. I don't know, but that might be the match we get at Mania, though. So yeah, I don't know, man.
And honestly, Brian, dare I say, it might be the best case scenario for everybody, because guys, whether you like this or not, because I don't give a shit, Cody and Roman, the intrigue, the investment, the build, it's done. It's done. They haven't, first of all, they haven't done anything this entire past year, and people can give me all the hints and teases that they've done along with Cody Rhodes' journey. Guys, it's the bare freaking minimum. Like, they're not, there's nothing that Cody Rhodes has done this entire calendar year that has gotten people that invested to say, man, I can't wait to see how this story finishes. Like, they haven't. So, and this is why I've advocated for Rock and Roman at WrestleMania, as well as you have, Brian, because it just intrigues most of us fans. It just does, man. It just does at the end of the day. Like, do Rock and Roman at Mania. You don't even have to do it for the title. I don't even give a shit about the freaking title. It's just like, there's nothing. The story, because this is a completely different book, man.
Yep.
The story
100%.
is no longer the story. It's a completely different book. And you're trying to tell that same story at Mania that no longer has that same feel, that same investment, that same intrigue that you could have had at Mania freaking last year when Cody Rhodes should have won the title. And that's just it, man.
Like I don't understand what you would do. Like, even if say that is the match, right? And Cody beats Rollins and wins that title. Like, are you still playing along? Like, oh, Cody finished the story. He got the title that his dad never. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Like, I don't. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
And I think here's also where the WWE, to your point, where they haven't built anything with Cody and Roman. I think both fans and WWE have fumbled the ball here, because I still hear so many fans saying, like, the story, finish the story against, like, making it about Roman when it's not about Roman. It's the title.
Right,
it's not about Roman. I don't get it.
Exactly. Which is why, like, because of that, like, if you want to prolong of, like, Cody Rhodes winning the Dusty title, like, because again, it's not a, but again, it would just feel like a downgrade.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's a
no,
secondary
absolutely,
championship.
absolutely.
All of this, Brian, is just such a
Right.
mess. This
Yeah,
entire year of Cody Rhodes' story has been a mess. And because of this injury bug, it just adds another layer of just a complete disaster, is what
yeah,
this entire situation is, man. With Seth's injury, Punk's injury, Cody Rhodes' journey just to get to this freaking point, it's all a mess. And yeah, I mean, I know people don't want to hear it, but guys, it could be on the table that Cody and Seth faces off for this world title at Mania. It could
yep,
possibly happen, guys. Like, I know that's not what everybody wants, but that is on the table right now. I'm
yeah,
telling you, because
yeah,
WWE is in a major pickle with these injuries, and they don't even know what to freaking do right now.
yep.
So anything's possible at this point. No pun intended to Kevin Garnett, but anything is possible at this freaking point. So I don't know, man. It's baffling. I
Yeah.
laughed as soon as Seth was like, "I think you should fight me." I just died laughing. I'm like, "What in the hell are we doing, man?"
I just
Like,
wonder if that is the route they go. They got because I mean, I can't imagine. Like you would have to acknowledge Cody would have to acknowledge this is a different story. This is not like you
right.
can't just go out there and
How would
continue
you have
like
how would you
now
have
I'm
Cody
yeah.
or acknowledge or tell the story like, yeah, why he's not facing Roman.
Right,
It
right.
would just really it just would not make Cody Rhodes look good, man.
Yep.
So both of everything is just it's just unfortunate to like not just challenging Seth, but explaining himself. Why would you want to challenge Roman, but you're challenging Seth for this title? None of it makes anybody look good,
Right.
man.
I've been doing this for a year and a half, and Seth comes out there and gives a 5-minute promo. And you know what, Seth, you're right.
And
That's the title I need.
instantly is conflicted, bro. Instantly.
Oh
Oh my
man, yeah.
god, man. And
Yep.
honestly, man, it's just uh I don't even have any more words. I
Yeah.
really don't with
Yeah.
this entire I've beaten this whole shtick with Cody, and I like Cody so much,
So
man.
do
I
I,
really do.
man. Yeah.
Me and
Yeah.
you, Brian, have been the biggest Cody Rhodes supporters,
It should
and
have done.
I
It
just
should
want
have happened last year.
it
Should have
should have
happened last year.
everything, Brian, that escalates up to this point just proves us right that he should have won it last year at freaking WrestleMania 39. It's evident, man. It should have
Yeah.
happened. And all of this could have been freaking avoided. All of it. But no, Cody had to struggle. He had to face adversity. You know, Roman needs to get to 1,000 days, right? He
Mhm.
needs to surpass Hulk Hogan's title, not even a record, just surpass his title reign. It's
Right.
not even a record, really. It's just surpassing a milestone, guys. So, and this entire show too was just very, I don't know, dare I say, very subpar. Again, there's a lot of good stuff. I mean, you got R-Truth and Damian Priest. Damian Priest was he played it off really well with the whole turning on R-Truth. He's like, dude,
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
Truth, I like you. So, I don't want to have to do this. So he calls Dom and JD to freaking just do it for him.
Right. Right.
As I'm sure he's going to form with Miz again with awesome Truth and everything. Bronson Reed's booking is just befuddling. He said he wanted to go after a title. Now he wants to go after Jey Uso instead. He lost to Jey Uso last night. I don't know what the hell they're doing with Bronson Reed. There's just a lot of holes, man.
Yeah.
As a lot
Yeah.
as some good stuff that there is in this show, like Drew and Gunther, like and some other stuff, right? There's still a lot of holes in this company right now. But we'll see if Triple H, Paul Levesque, and creative can fill those holes, can find somewhat of a plan to adjust and come up with some type of game plan for us not to crawl into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but we shall see, man. But we shall see. But Brian, your final thoughts before we wrap things up here.
Oh man, just I mean the two I think most interesting things for me, at least right now, are just what is Cody going to do and how are they going to tell that story, and also the Bailey damage control, like how that finally that breakup finally does happen, because I feel
Yeah,
like they're like I said,
absolutely.
I think the next 3 to 4 weeks they're kind of still going to be dragging the story, but
Mhm.
come Elimination Chamber, that's where I think it's really going to go down. But I think that story ultimately, however it plays out and finishes, I think that's going to be great.
Absolutely. Yeah. We shall see, man. We shall see. Hopefully, again, just they figure it out. That's all I can say is that they can figure it out. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of Ruthless Talk. Make sure you guys follow us on social media, both on Instagram and TikTok. That is Ruthless_Talk, our next episode. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You guys have not talked about AEW in a while. Well, don't worry, you guys. We're going to be talking some AEW next episode this coming Saturday. We will mention a little bit about AEW as well as SmackDown for this coming Friday. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that episode this coming Saturday. As well, of course, we got the Chamber coming up. We'll be doing a pay-per-view review on that. And of course, we got another big roundtable for WrestleMania in the next couple of months. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that as well. We already have our guests in place. So make sure you guys stay tuned to see who those guests are. But thank you guys so much again for always tuning into every episode. And as always, just stay tuned for more wrestling chaos to come. Brian, final thoughts.
Man, just thank everybody for tuning in, subscribing, listening, watching, man, and stay tuned for more to come.
Yes, sir. Couldn't said it any better myself, man. Couldn't said it any better. That's going to do it for today's episode, everybody. My name is James Porcelli.
I'm Brian Thomas.
And until next time, and there will be a next time, your boys are signing off saying salute.
Peace out.
And take care, everybody. Peace.
Let the body hit the road. Let the body hit the road.